a lot of people came and they, wrote thank you, and they wrote a good comment or a good feedback for a particular person who helped them out, and in what way, how that service became better. So McDonald's had done this strategy all over US and various other countries. तो उसका इफेक्ट सबसे ज्यादा क्या हुआ था, that the first effect was that it was a very smart strategy, because you're not asking them, okay, let us know how you feel. You're telling them, please thank our crews, please write a thank you note for the person who helped you. So anyone who's choosing to write is you're only going to thank a person na jab kuch acha, you felt good about a certain thing. So McDonald's actually used this strategy, and you know what it did to the performance quotient of the employees? Their productivity at work became 10 times more, or probably 20 times more. They were more happier. They were making extra efforts to make their customers, feel good, so that they could write a good thank you review. And it totally affected their performance at work. So this small thing, thank you crew that McDonald's had started, and they didn't really publicize it much. There were like small banners at McDonald's here and there. What it did was it increased their emotional quotient. It enhanced their emotional quotient. They felt good emotionally, which in turn, increased their productivity, their performance quotient. So Daniel Goleman, he is an author of, he is the one who wrote the first book about emotional intelligence, one of the first books. And according to him, IQ hires us, EQ fires us. If we are very intelligent, we'll get hired. But if we are not able to work as a team, we are not able to form connections with our team, we'll get fired. If not today, few days later, there'll be so many complaints. I'm sure there are complaints coming to you all on a daily basis. And people get fired because of lack of emotional quotient, irrespective of their IQ. And our emotional quotient directly impacts our performance quotient. So it is very important. And one of you, because you all are HRs, can you please share an incident where you actually fired a person because their emotional quotient, they were not emotionally very, not positive specifically, but not very accommodating with the other staff? Anyone? Where you had to fire someone because of their behavior?
Nupur,
Anyone?
in my entire career, I fired one person, one HR person. He was a manager HR
Hmm.
in my team, but still, due to
Okay.
his behavior, I fired him, and I
Because of his
couldn't work
emotional
with him.
quotient. And I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
he must be intelligent. IQ to high ही होगा, because of which you hired him in the first place.
I didn't hire him, but he was somehow he was in my team, but I didn't adjust with him, and due to his behavior, I fired him. So he is the only one person whom I fired in entire my career, who was in my team,
So
and I fired
the
him.
EQ. Thank you for sharing this, because this actually proves that IQ hires us, but EQ fires us. And performance quotient is equivalent to emotional quotient. If you're emotionally in a positive state of mind, you will perform much better, and that happens with all of us. The day we are good, feeling good, everything goes well, everything is positive, and the day we are not, our performance gets affected by it, right? That's why it's important. It helps us maintain relationships. It draws others to us instead of repelling them away. It helps us win hearts of people. It enhances our decision making capability. There are fewer relationship problems. It avoids and helps us resolve rage at workplace. It helps us appear genuine and aligned. It provides tenacity to resolve both internal and external conflicts. Because if our EQ is higher, we'll know how to compartmentalize our internal conflicts. Internal conflicts are what are reflected externally. And therefore, we need to work on our EQ to make it stronger. Another, I'm sorry, like just a little bit more of the presentation is left. I hope you all are okay with it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So
Yes.
As HRs, you are constantly giving feedbacks, or anyone, like we all are constantly giving feedbacks. Any form of communication that we have is feedbacks, right? So there are two principles. They recommend using the Losada principle, Losada ratio in professional life, and Gottman in personal life. But it is absolutely up to us how we use it. So they say when you give one negative comment, add it with three positive comments. Uh, I'll give you an example of this. Instead of saying your presentation is horrible, I'll say, oh, you the last three times you've been presenting very well, and I like the way you were communicating, connecting, but something wasn't right today. I am criticizing, but I have added three things. There is a lot of difference in saying your presentation wasn't good, and when I'm saying, oh, the last three times you presented very well, you could form a connection, but this time there was something missing. So it's just a play of words. You are still giving the criticism, but the moment you add something positive with it, it becomes, more. The person is open to accept that criticism very openly. It's a closure to an emotion. It's a closure to that thing because they know, okay, I'm not, this is not me, but yeah, I went wrong this time, and next time I have to make sure that I correct it. Then the Gottman principle is 1:5. In this, normally we use it for our children or for our spouses, where we say, Aaj, you behave very badly. Let them sit on it. आधे घंटे एक घंटे बाद go and tell them, the last, you always behaved so nicely, you were such a, I'm talking about my son here, okay, and you always behave so nicely, and what happened to you today? You're such a nice boy, you always listen to me, you're always friendly. What made you behave badly today? Now here I gave my child, or whoever I'm communicating with, the time to absorb the criticism, and then added appreciation. If you're just criticizing, your criticism will never be accepted or will never be worked upon. The moment you add appreciation to the criticism, you get it's easier to improve then. So criticism has a very, very, there is a way of giving feedback, and these are the ways that we use while being emotionally intelligent. Always add 1:3 or 1:5 ratio while you're giving feedback. uh, Empathy and compassion, we all talk about empathy and compassion, and these are such big words. uh, what is empathy? Can anyone tell me the difference between empathy and compassion? Anyone? Okay, I'll share it with you. Empathy, putting yourself in other person's position in a way of understanding where they are coming from. Empathy depends on not only on one's ability to identify someone else's emotion, but also on one's capacity to put oneself in the other person's place and to experience an appropriate emotion. For example, uh, you and me are working in the same company. We have a boss who's usually very, rude, and he comes and he's rude to you, and I can empathize with you because he's been rude to me also, and I'm like, okay, I feel bad about it. Or someone is going through something in their life, and you just feel bad. I'm sorry, and genuinely you feel bad, empathizing with that person. In compassion, we go one step ahead. We look for solution to help us resolve the problem. In terms of the boss and the employee scenario, I come to the HR and I complain about my boss. And I say, hello, he's been harassing us. It's not working out. We are not able to concentrate on our work better. I'm doing something about it. I'm trying to get out of the situation, which is, I'm being compassionate towards the situation and the person. Empathy is just feeling, compassion is actually going two steps ahead and helping. The difference is empathy and compassion are very different. They are formed in, they are represented in different part of our brain. With empathy, we join the suffering of others who suffer, but stop short of actually helping. We'll just be like, oh, I'm feeling bad. And I understand what you're going through. But we're not going to go one step ahead. With compassion, we take a step away from the emotion of empathy and ask ourselves, how can we help? How do I resolve this situation? So, it's important to have empathy and it's important to be compassionate. Every situation requires us to choose either of the two, either empathy or compassion. And it's up to the situation, it's up to your capabilities. And but it's important to be both. It's important to be empathetic and it's important to be compassionate, especially if you want to be emotionally intelligent, because